last year in America, and the shadows of the trees weren't sharp enough, so we painted them on the wall. See, we're just going to sit here and enjoy these instead of talking. Kind of a problem.
I wasn't satisfied though with the presentation of the horizontal television and the vertical shots. Why not go with the vertical television?
I thought they were like mount them with its own gravity. I didn't realize that until like a week ago. And then I was gonna have them two separate monitors, one vertical. I didn't realize.
You can't mount these that way.
These ones they have like hooks, and like they hooked on it. It's like I think it's from gravity. You sure?
Well, there's different, the supporting brackets on the back are just attached to the TV. They're independent. You can go get different kinds. And it's a stand called Bessa. It's a Bessa standard. There's all sorts of different brands and kinds that you can get. And some attach in different ways. Some have giant arms that come out. Some are really simple. Some are, this style. So in the future, I just realized you can take a little more control of that. I love some of these image videos. I've seen the fan diagram, which is great. But I must say, I found myself incredibly tiring of them rapidly as I watched them. And I think because there's always the punchline, and because it's like a new one every time, I already know it's coming. Like I already anticipate it. And I'm being set up for it. I know it's coming. It's not a surprise. And so I think possibly doing this kind of series like this, one after the other, it kind of ruins the surprise for the next one. And I wonder too if this whole thing where we start off with one thing, the static, and then the dynamic thing comes in and changes it. Maybe that's not always the best strategy. Like, can you find that tension in a shot that doesn't really change? Like, can you find the dramatic tension of something becoming one thing and turning it into another right there in my mind? You don't need to sort of act so hard on it. It's kind of a garish attempt at getting to the absurd.
I think this one's a good case in point. I would have actually preferred if just the footrest came up and sort of, that was it. Because, it's, I anthropomorphize that to death. Like he's chuckling at the end. And, maybe like Kyle was saying, I have a different relationship with all of these if I wasn't seeing them in sequence and that. This is I know this is going to happen, but I don't know about the shadow, and that's what I really like. So it has both, and that's really cool. But maybe there were, like longer periods of blank or things that don't have anything in between or something, so that these become like commercials or, I don't know. A lot of Wakeman's early videos are like that. They're 30-second long pieces that in between these longer narratives that have a completely different kind of sense of narrative and stuff. And that's so, it's almost too quick to see, and you sort of caught off guard because in fact you're not expecting it. I think that's really fun. I really like a lot of these individually. I think it's just a matter of this is the one I don't like. Last night I couldn't figure out why, and I think it's because it reminds me too much of another artist.
Even the repetition of the same one just repeating, it's like saying the same word over and over and over. You know how then all of a sudden that word starts to sound really strange and it starts to disconnect from its original meaning? So there's something that happens when we watch something repeat. And it has its initial fun, but then a new fun emerges that we really don't expect. It transforms yet again. And like that fan going up and down, then it all of a sudden becomes this pneumatic device.
It could be interesting to even think about them on, all having a separate monitor, maybe even a separate pacing structure, or even within that how a repetition of the same action can function, or we might be seeing several variations on, this kind of elemental principle which you're testing out on this domestic experiment.
it's kind of funny, this at breakfast, I was reading this essay about Ernie Kovacs. You know Ernie Kovacs? Sort of pioneer TV, sort of it's really impossible to describe, but the early years of television, live television, for one episode, he built the entire set upside down so that when he poured water, it would go towards the ceiling of the shot because it was live and they couldn't. And it's like kind of, I mean, it's so obvious and it's hilarious at the same time. And it's partly funny because you know what's going to happen. And so you sort of, and you sort of laugh at yourself too, in terms of that waiting, that expectation. Maybe you guys need a history of television class. But
I think we need a contemporary television class.
I don't think you can talk about video art and not know about Ernie Kovacs.
Would you like to go over to the other gallery for